It is week 9 of the NHL season, and teams as well as coaches are starting to get fed up.
That went on here tonight is just ridiculous.
We got teams trading their captain, coaches getting fired, and surprise performances that no one saw coming heading into this season.
Kaprizov scores!
The NHL season is getting weird, and the chaos of it all is really starting to pick up. So here's what really happened in week 9 of the NHL. Sunday, Centennial Bruins. 100 years of Bruins hockey, and what a better way to celebrate it than to absolutely pump the Habs with 4 goals in the first 20 minutes of the game. Jeremy Swayman gets in the holiday spirit by giving Suzuki the forearm shiver, and Boston rolls over the Habs 6-3. Now, it looks like the Yzer plan is going up in flames in front of our eyes as they blow a 4-3 lead late in the third, and Jake DeBrusk has been money for the Canucks as of late.
Drops back for DeBrusk. His shot, he scores! Jake DeBrusk, the hat trick!
The OT winner caps off his hat trick for the night, and the Canucks pick up 2 points. Now, a little side tidbit for you. Quinn Hughes became Vancouver's all-time leader in assists by a defenseman, doing it in 537 less games than the previous leader in Alex Edler. Meanwhile, another franchise player remains on an island as Connor Bedard puts up another 2 points, but Chicago picks up another loss to Columbus. That is 8 of their last 11, and they sit firmly in the basement of the NHL yet again. The polar opposite are the Jets, but they're starting to slow down a bit, which was expected after starting the season on a heater that the league had never seen before. But Dallas scores 3 unanswered, and the Jets have all of a sudden lost 6 of their last 9. Finally, of course, we get to our Sunday night toilet bowl game between the Sens and the Ducks. This one was a seesaw battle all the way through, but the Ducks have a lot of experience in these toilet bowl games. So they send out the shootout cheat code in Trevor Zegras, and he roofs it to seal the Ducks win, while the Sens just continue to find ways to lose. Monday, Ranger meltdown. If there's one team who seems to be on a complete downward spiral right now, it's the New York Rangers. Trade rumors, contract extensions, losing streaks, the noise is at an all-time high for New York, and the only way it can get worse is if they lose to the Devils. And they didn't just lose to the Devils, they got absolutely embarrassed by them. A 5-1 spanking with Jesper Bradatui putting up 4 points and making the Rangers look like this year's frauds. After the game, Jack Hughes was asked whether or not he tried to embarrass Shesterkin with his one-handed B-way, to which he responded,
"Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what that means."
Just know that if you want to hear the world's dumbest questions, all you have to do is listen to a hockey interview. The Bedards on the back-to-back were in Toronto to see the parade route in person, and Austin Matthews gave them a front row seat with his first goal back since his injury. But the man who steals the show again for Toronto is Anthony Stolarz. He stops 27 of 28, and he continues to be one of the best sneaky pickups on free agency this season as the Leafs win 4-1. Meanwhile, the Utah no-name brand had the unfortunate honor of playing a Dallas team who looks like they're finding their groove. A Casey DeSmith 37-save masterclass keeps the Stars in the win column and Utah without a name to end Monday night. Tuesday, overtime madness. There were 10 games on Tuesday, and half of them went to overtime. Now, this year has been horrible for the Montreal Canadiens, but Christmas comes early as Patrick Laine finally returns to the lineup to make his season debut. And he didn't wait long to have an impact.
Lane Hudson, Laine thought about the one-timer, rips and score! Welcome to the Bell Center, Patrick Laine!
That is his first goal in over a year, and the Bell Center is absolutely rocking. Of course, it didn't last too long because Islanders hockey is the strongest sleeping drug the world has to offer. But Captain Suzuki wakes everyone back up with the OT goal to send Canadiens fans home happy for once. Now, this might be interesting, but ever since we started the hashtag Save Sidney Crosby movement, the Penguins have not lost a game. Again, we're not going to talk about how they almost blew a 4-1 lead for the second time in 7 days, but instead we will focus on Brian Rust calling game against the Cup champs to give them their 4th win in a row. Still a long ways away, but that being said, we still strongly encourage the hashtag Save Sid movement. Let's head over to the Wild and Canucks, where these two teams are putting on one of the most entertaining 3-on-3 OTs of the season. Breakaways and odd man rushes galore, but the Wild would strike last.
Rossi with Kaprizov. Kaprizov scores!
That is your NHL leading scorer in Kirill Kaprizov. And with that win, the Wild are now the best team in the NHL. Of course, only behind the San Jose Sharks. That's because the future 2025 Stanley Cup champs are absolutely buzzing. Sir William Eklund scores on the power play in OT to beat the Caps 2-1, and ever since losing their first 9 games of the season, the Sharks are 10-6-3. The silver lining for the Caps is that Ovi is back to skating just 2 weeks after breaking his fibula. The Russian machine never breaks, baby. Now with Boston beating the Red Wings in OT, this is the perfect time for the Sabres to get 2 points. And they come out firing with 4 goals in the first period to chase Georgiev out of the net once again for Colorado. But these are the Buffalo Sabres.
Chance with a 3-on-1 down low, they score. On with a shot, pass save, rebound, scores. A shot, rebound, save, scores. Couple of moves by Rantanen up top, score. Wide out for Colorado, they're buzzing. Looking at it again, they score.
That is absolutely hilarious. The Sabres blow a 4-goal lead and then lose in regulation. You just can't make this stuff up. Just when you think they're turning the corner and pulling themselves out of the Bermuda Triangle of Mid, they get sucked right back in to being one of hockey's greatest disappointments. Sabres fans deserve better. Now, it was also a night where a couple of juggernauts got taken down as the Kraken beat the Hurricanes 4-2, and the Blues, those sneaky sleepers, beat the Jets 4-1. Is there a potential fraud alert brewing there? No, I'm just kidding. But they are 3-7 in their last 10, so something to consider. Meanwhile, the Golden Knights are lurking in the rearview mirror for the top spot in the West. And one way to do it is to shut out the McDraisaitl Happy Meal combo for a 1-0 win. Adin Hill gets the shutout and continues to make a strong case for why he should be the starting goalie for Canada at the Four Nations tournament. That is the weak spot in Team Canada's roster, but if Adin Hill can play like that, then they should have no problem. Finally, we had an emotional game between the Flames and the Blue Jackets. With both of Johnny Gaudreau's 2 teams facing off, everyone went out for warm-up sporting a 13 Johnny Gaudreau jersey. A very emotional opening ceremony in honor of the Gaudreaus was tough to watch, but you got to credit both teams who still had to dig deep and find a way to play an NHL game. Darth Vladar stops all 16 shots the Jackets throw at him, and in the final minute of the game, the Calgary crowd did their thing. How can you not be romantic about hockey? An awesome Johnny Hockey champ breaks out at the end of the game in a 3-0 Flames win. And after an extremely fun and chaotic night of hockey around the league, it's poetic that Johnny Gaudreau gets the first star of the game. Wednesday, change in Chicago. To start off the night, we had the Leafs versus Preds. Now, you know me. I'm always looking for the perfect seat to watch the Leaf Cup parade live and in person, which is exactly why I use SeatGeek to find the very best deal to go to this game. SeatGeek is the best app for finding deals on tickets by rating them on a scale of 1 to 10 so that you know if you're getting a good deal. If it's red, it's no bueno. If it's green, you should absolutely snatch up those tickets. SeatGeek is hooking you guys up with 15% off whether you're a new customer or not. And even though the first 40 minutes of this game had everyone dozing off, we got a little bit involved once we saw Nashville go to the box.
Get in the box! Get in the box!
Austin Matthews double dips, all while getting Gustav Nyquist to look like Bambi on skates. The Leaf Cup parade is still on, and if you want to join in on the fun live with your favorite team, get the app, open your phone, and type Hockey15 in your code, and you'll get 15% off your next tickets. If you want the best seats in the house while scoring a great deal, click the link in our description and use the code to get in on the action this season. That being said, the Blackhawks may have to start paying their fans to come to games because, God, they are awful. Misery has followed the Blackhawks into the depths of hell, and even drafting a generational talent hasn't been able to mask how absolutely cheeks they've been this season. They catch Boston on a back-to-back, and it absolutely didn't matter. Captain Marchand scores 2, and Bedard is once again held off the score sheet as Boston goes 6-2 under Joe Sacco. What do you know, Boston looks good again and everyone hates it. Now, the loss for Chicago was enough for them to fire their coach, Luke Richardson. Tough go, but at least he's free from, well, coaching in Chicago. Meanwhile, the quiet killers out west did their thing as the Kings come back from being down 2-0 to the Stars but they got the cojones to bounce back. Warren Foegele has a big boy shift to get the game winner and the chef's kiss to seal the win. Well, they call 1-800-BIG-SAVE Dave Riddick as he stops 26 of 28 for the Kings' 4th win in a row. Now, lock of the night was the Ducks losing to the Golden Knights, but the loss hurts just a little bit more when Trevor Zegras went down with what looked like to be an awkward leg injury. Lately, he's just had brutal luck with injuries, and it gets even worse here. Vegas makes easy work winning 4-1, and it seems like another year of tanking is in the best interest for the Ducks. Thursday, terrific Tampa. Now, we all had to know that the Sharks' party was going to end sooner or later, but it came at the hands of the Tampa Bay Lightning, and it was a disaster. Right out of the gate, Hagel scored twice and was over by the first period with a 5-0 lead for the Lightning. Braden Point gets 4 assists, and I hope you had him in fantasy because the Lightning walk all over San Jose 8-1. That score looks a lot more like the Sharks that we all got to know last year. The Cup champs were also in action, and they had Philly, and both of these teams decided to forego goaltending and defense. Florida was up by 2, but Owen Keep the Tippett dragged Philly right back into this one by scoring 2 by himself. However, the Panthers just know when to turn it on. They score 3 straight to remind everyone that they can still beat you, even if it looks like they're sandbagging, as they win 7-5. A team that also seems to forego goaltending every night are the Colorado Avalanche. When the top dogs ain't scoring, there's not a lot there that can elevate Colorado. They do put up 3 goals against Carolina, but that defense is stifling, only allowing 19 shots and a 5-3 win as Carolina keeps on rolling. Now, with the 4 Nations rosters being announced, one surprise was Team USA leaving Cole Caulfield off the team despite leading all Americans this year in goals. But the Habs have another sniper who made Team Finland, and Patrick Laine is starting to feel it.
Hudson, Laine, waiting, shooting, score! He did it again! Patrick Laine!
The guy can absolutely rip a puck, and he's got his 2nd goal in as many games, and the Habs shut out the Preds 3-0. Like, how bad do you have to be to let the Habs shut you out? Just a difficult and puzzling year for the Preds that somehow finds a way to get worse in every game. Another snub from Team USA is Tage Thompson, and clearly he's pissed as he rips one past Hellebuck for his 14th of the season. Too bad the Sabres live in mediocrity. Lowry gets the OT winner for the Jets and hands Buffalo their 5th loss in a row. So that's 1/3 of the Bermuda Triangle of mid taken care of. The other 2 in the Sens and Red Wings were actually playing each other. It's a miracle both of these teams don't find a way to lose this game and disappoint their fans, but Detroit takes the honor in doing so by letting Ottawa score with 41 seconds left in regulation to miss out on the Gary Bettman pity point. And funny enough, when you look at the standings, it is poetic to see all 3 of these teams side by side in the Atlantic. Now, because I'm permanently on Lou Lamoriello's hit list for speaking the truth about the Islanders in last week's video, I have entered witness protection for whenever I talk about Islanders games moving forward. So I'll just flash the score of the game here, and I'll also flash where they sit in the standings so that the facts just tell the story and Lou Lamoriello can just leave me alone. Now, over in Calgary, we get a little bit of spice in OT. Team Canada legend Colton Parayko drives the net like it owes him money, and he stuffs it home past Darth Vladar to win the game. But Calgary challenges, saying that Parayko pushed Vladar's pad into the net, but half the Blues are already on the PJ home, and Jim Montgomery was in the back crushing pizza.
Stayed in there, eating pizza, having a water.
Look at the smile on that man's face. I guess that's what leaving Boston does to a man. The Blues go 4-0-1 in the Montgomery era, and they maintain being a potential sleeper pick for that last wild card spot moving forward. Finally, we had the Oilers versus Columbus. They honor Connor McDavid getting 1,000 points, and then he proceeds to work his magic.
Entering tonight, McDavid a steal, a drive to the net, a dish, and a one-timer buried.
That was absolutely outrageous. Sickening behavior passing the puck to Zach Hyman, and even more disgusting is he puts up 4 assists on the night in a 6-3 Oilers win. Friday, big change. By the end of the week, it seemed like multiple teams were starting to face the fallout and consequences of the season so far. First, you had the Sabres calling a press conference after a 5-game losing streak, saying that Buffalo just isn't a destination right now. Don't know if we needed a press conference to say that. But then the Rangers drop a bomb. The captain, Jacob Trouba, gets shipped to Anaheim for a 4th-round pick
where he and Rako Gudas can be the real-life embodiment of the Bash brothers on the blue line. Igor Shesterkin is also going to owe the Ducks a couple of beers because they take on Trouba's entire contract, and some of that money was used to give Igor a brand new deal. 8 years at $11.5 million makes him by far the highest paid goalie in the league, and nothing would settle down the noise in New York like a big 2 points. Lucky for them, the Penguins are in town. So Artemi Panarin has a big night, getting 2 goals and an assist, while Shesterkin holds down the fort, making 20 saves. Igor was getting a little bit testy at the end of the game too, and I'm sure he's telling Raquel how much more money he's going to be making in the next couple years. Overall, the Rangers get a big 4-2 win on a hectic day of news. Now, it's very tough to make it through an entire week with the Parade not experiencing some doubt. And with the Ovilus Caps coming to Toronto and holding them to just 1 goal for the win, the Parade has turned to doubtful. The Devils, on the other hand, still look like a certified wagon. Jack Hughes to Luke Hughes all the way to the top bunk for Luke's first goal of the year, and they get 2 points to stay tied at the top of the Metro with the Caps. Let's quickly go over to Vancouver, where we get a nice lesson on how not to play goalie. Elvis Merzlikins comes out to play the puck, it gets intercepted, and the Canucks take full advantage. Elvis has left the crease and also leaves the building with an L as the Canucks score 5 straight to beat Columbus. The 2 wagons out west in Minnesota and Vegas also did not disappoint. The Wild did what they were supposed to do and spanked a bad Ducks team 5-1, while Vegas sent a message to Dallas. Adin Hill is sick of the slander towards Canadian goalies and puts up an unreal 38-save performance as they squeak out a close 3-2 win over the Dallas Stars to end Friday night. Saturday, hockey night. My God, are the Buffalo Sabres ever depressing. Not only are they on a 5-game losing streak, but the other night, rookie Tyson Kozak, no, not Tyler Bozak, had his very first career goal taken away by video review. This game, he scores again, and it actually counts, but too bad the Sabres still can't win. Vejmelka stops 23 of 25 for Utah, and Buffalo drops their 6th straight to a team that doesn't even have a real name. Let's move on to Boston, where the rookie Matvei Michkov continues to stay hot.
And this long drive blocked by the Bruins. They score from the bottom of the right wing circle. Matvei Michkov drills it in.
He scores the first 2 goals of the game, and Philly had a 3-1 lead at the end of the second, but Boston battled back. Marchand gets this cheeky goal on the breakaway. Look at this slick Rick slipping at 5-hole for the game-tying goal to eventually force OT, and Pavel Zacha gets the winner to complete the comeback. Now, in the eyes of Philly, there were some questionable calls, and afterwards, Torts was furious with the officiating of the game.
Yeah, let me start. Okay. One thing I teach my team to do is not dive. Maybe I should start teaching them that. The way this has gone here, the way it goes on, maybe I should start teaching them how to dive.
Man, is it ever great to listen to John Tortorella lose it. Anyways, the Blackhawks' first game under new interim head coach Anders Sorensen is unfortunately against the Winnipeg Jets. So despite scoring 2 goals, Chicago only had 14 shots in this game. The nightmare year for the Bedards continue, and the Jets become the first team in the NHL to 20 wins. Now, for my personal safety, thank God the Islanders won. And they managed to do it against a damn good Hurricanes team who've been their Achilles heel for the last few years in the playoffs. Knowing Lou, that win should validate them keeping their core for another 5 years. If they're anything like Toronto, maybe they'll keep them even longer. On Saturday, we had the Unstoppable Cup Parade versus the hashtag Save Sidney Crosby movement. And when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object, well, the Leafs lose. That is truly the only constant in this world, and the Penguins' power play along with Shanghai Jerry come up big to officially cancel the Leaf Cup Parade by the end of the week. Especially because the Panthers' win over the Sharks has them reclaim the top spot in the Atlantic. Now, if you see a Predators fan this week, I'd say buy them a beer, but they're going to need something a lot stronger to deal with what's going on this season. This team just cannot score. They just look broken completely. And if it wasn't for a garbage time goal in the final minutes, they would have been shut out in back-to-back games. That right there is their 7th loss in a row. The Red Wings are also another team that makes me sick. Eyes are playing this, eyes are playing that. Where are they going? The Avalanche actually get a save for once, and they beat Detroit 2-1 to hand them their 5th straight loss. Now how about this? Tom Wilson gets a puck right to the face, and it swells up so badly that Buddy looks like Quagmire from Family Guy. But he doesn't give a shit. Basketball players are out 4-6. Soccer players may never play again, but hockey players don't miss a shift. Wilson comes back and buries 2 big goals while the Caps take down the Habs. This game was just more proof of it, but this Washington team is filled with dogs, and they're a legit wagon even without Ovi. I also can't mention wagons without mentioning the Wild, but they met the quiet killers in the Kings. And surprisingly, there was no need to call big save Dave Riddick because Kemper balls out, stopping 22 of 23. Underappreciated player of the decade, Anze Kopitar also played in his 1400th career game, and he got an apple in a solid 4-1 win over Minnesota. Finally, the main event was the Oilers versus the Blues. This is the first time these two teams are meeting since Blues GM Doug Armstrong gave the double bird to Edmonton after he offer sheeted both Philip Broberg and Dylan Holloway to steal them. The crowd made sure to boo both guys, and the Oilers players made sure to give the FU back. McDavid scores off a Broberg pizza, how lovely, and the captain goes off again with another multi-point night. Also, all of Canada rolls their eyes when they see Jordan Binnington let in that last goal, considering that he might be the starter for Team Canada in the Four Nations tournament. That goal would be the game winner as Edmonton wins 4-2 to end Saturday night. So, what did you think of Week 9? Who pissed you off? Who surprised you? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you want to check out some of our previous breakdowns from this past week, click on any of the videos on screen here and subscribe to the channel for more weekly recaps and breakdowns.